Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you're interested in today's video. The lithography machine represents the Mount Everest of the semiconductor industry, a summit reached by only a select few. Over the course of 40 years, the Dutch firm ASML transformed itself from a peripheral technological offshoot of Philips into a monopolist commanding an 80% share of the global lithography machine market. This feat was achieved through a process of slow cooking, a patient, painstaking refinement of optics, mechanics, and software. Yet recently, Mark Hijink, a Dutch technology journalist who has long tracked the semiconductor industry, stated candidly in an interview, the manner in which Chinese companies are investing in the field of lithography machines is even more aggressive than ASML's approach back in the day. This aggressiveness does not manifest as a brute force assault on technology itself, but rather as a novel interpretation of industrial dynamics. While ASML built its technological moats through the patient accumulation of time, China is now carving a foothold in the lithography race through an efficiency revolution, driven by supply chain synergy and cross-sectoral integration. When ASML was founded in Eindhoven, the Netherlands, on April 1, 1984, no one could have imagined it would evolve into the king of lithography machines it is today. At the time, it was merely a discarded piece from Philips' semiconductor division, deemed unprofitable after a prolonged period. It was spun off and established as a joint venture with equipment manufacturer ASM and the Dutch government. In its nascent stages, the performance of ASML's equipment lagged far behind that of American rivals like GCA and PerkinElmer, to say nothing of the Japanese giants, Nikon and Canon, that would later rise to prominence. Its sole selling point was a price tag 30% lower than that of its competitors. The true turning point lay embedded within a dual logic, technological iteration, coupled with supply chain integration. In the early days of the lithography market, the United States leveraged military-industrial demand to secure a technological head start, while Japan achieved a comprehensive, end-to-end breakthrough through its Very Large-Scale Integration (VLSI) project. ASML, however, chose a seemingly clumsier path, an unyielding obsession with precision. It focused intently on developing wafer-stage positioning technology, as chip fabrication processes transition from the micron scale to the nanoscale. This paranoia regarding precision, where even a millimeter of error is deemed unacceptable, emerged as its core competitive advantage. In the 1990s, ASML introduced its PAS series of equipment, achieving a wafer stage positioning accuracy of 0.1 microns, an order of magnitude more precise than the Japanese equipment available at the time, and subsequently began securing orders from major industry players such as TSMC and Samsung. Even more critical, however, was its deep integration with TSMC. In 2004, when immersion lithography, a technique that replaces the air gap between a lithography machine's lens and the silicon wafer with water to enhance resolution, was still merely a laboratory concept, ASML and TSMC joined forces to establish a joint R&D team. Over the course of 2 years, they conducted 100,000 tests, ultimately bringing the technology to commercial fruition. This collaboration allowed ASML to decisively outpace Nikon and Canon during the 45nm process era, thereby cementing its monopolistic position. By 2023, ASML commanded a 100% market share in the global high-end lithography machine (EUV) sector and an 80% share in the mid-range (DUV) sector. Behind these figures lies a barrier built by the accumulation of time, the result of 40 years of iterative progress, optical systems evolving from a numerical aperture of 0.3 to 0.55, mechanical precision being refined from the micron scale down to the nanoscale, and software algorithms undergoing cumulative optimizations involving over 100,000 lines of code. The 40-year journey of ASML versus the 20-year trajectory of Chinese enterprises represents, in essence, a collision between two distinct industrial logics. ASML embodies technology-driven linear growth, proceeding step by step from basic research to applied development and finally to market validation, building barriers through the sheer accumulation of time. China, conversely, represents demand-driven nonlinear breakthroughs, leveraging institutional advantages to integrate resources, employing cross-disciplinary thinking to break down boundaries, and utilizing market demand to fuel technological advancement, thereby achieving leapfrog-style catch-up at critical junctures. The even tougher assessment offered by Dutch expert Haijing may well pinpoint this very difference. ASML's toughness lies in its relentless pursuit of perfection in technical details, whereas China's toughness resides in its capacity to restructure the entire industrial ecosystem. The former resembles an old artisan meticulously polishing a work of art, a time-consuming yet exquisite process. The latter resembles an engineer assembling building blocks, utilizing systems thinking to rapidly construct a functional product. There is no absolute superiority or inferiority here. ASML's technological barriers remain formidable, and China's path of catch-up is by no means a smooth one. Yet, the collision of these two models is currently rewriting the rules of the semiconductor equipment industry. The contest for lithography machine supremacy has never been merely a duel between individual enterprises. Rather, it is a competition between national industrial systems and innovation ecosystems. ASML has spent 40 years proving that slow is fast, while Chinese enterprises are currently exploring how to transform speed into strength. As Shanghai Microelectronics 28nm equipment enters the validation phase, and as Huawei's light source technology breaks through the 193nm barrier, China perceives not merely a technological breakthrough, but, more importantly, the newfound confidence of an industry transitioning from following to running alongside. This very confidence may well be the true meaning behind that word, fierce, used by Dutch experts, an unwavering dedication to independent innovation, a reverence for the fundamental laws of industry, and an absolute certainty regarding the future.